Welcome back, everybody, into another War of the Visions video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Dragon Quest Vision cards, and I'm not going to do a big flashy presentation. I'm pretty strapped on time, so we're just going to talk about each one and kind of go through the pros and cons and whether or not you should be pulling for it, because they are limited vision cards, and that is a very tricky thing to figure out because you just may not get another chance to get these cards. We really don't know. It's hard to say with these non-Final Fantasy collaborations. And it's even trickier to decide what to do with some of these cards because they are the job cards and not like an elemental card where it's very easy. If you like the element, you can just pull for it. For example, with this beautiful Psaro card, it's very clear. It's honestly, so if we go take a look at it right here, so we get luck, the max value 35% that we can see, HP 13%, agility 15%. This is such a pushed party effect. It is insane. And the fact that it has defense penetration and evasion rate on the unit effect, and then even more luck for Psaro, it's a really good, and that's a global upgrade, by the way. So this card is honestly so good for fire in general that basically it's as simple as this. If you ever plan to play fire in your life, you pull for this card. If you think I'm a big fire player, we pull for this card. If you think, oh, I kind of like playing fire sometimes, you pull for this card. And if you have no fire units at all, but you know for a fact that, you know, fire is a cool element, you want to get into it one day, then you pull for this card. The only reason you would not do it is if you're not someone that plays this game to play all the elements and that you're not pulling for a bunch of stuff and you're very focused on certain elements and you just don't play fire and you never will. That's like the one reason you might not pull this card. But if there's any chance that you're going to play fire in any competitive way at all, you have to pull for this card. It's that good, and it will be that worth it because it just does so many things. It's absolutely essential for fire evasion, but then it's also just really good to get a bunch of agility on a fire card, but also luck helps with your accuracy as well. HP is always good to stack, so this is just a very strong card. Defense penetration 20% is a high amount. This is a really good card, and almost certainly everyone should pull for it. So the next one is the Zoma card, and this one's a lot harder to kind of make a judgment about because it's so good on paper. Like this card, let's face it, looks so good when you read the effects, but the jobs are a lot harder to figure out. Now, it got a little bit better because a lot of the Full Metal Alchemist units can use this card. So all of a sudden that becomes a very cool card for people to pull for. I also love the art on this card as well. So let's take a look at it. Or not. There we go. So the unit effect, this is a magic VC, by the way. The unit effect, magic 10%, AoE resistance 10%. That's good unit effect. Anyone can use that. Looks pretty nice. But what's huge here, the party effects. Slash resistance 24%. Normally we get 20% max. So this is a 4% boost on what we usually get. Then magic attack 28. That's again a very high amount, and agility 15%. So agility cards are highly sought after. They are a really important part of this game. Speed is just so important in this game. And the fact that this card gives you magic attack, gives you speed, but it also gives you one of the most, if not the most important resistance at a higher rate than you could normally get it at is really, really strong. And if you have Zoma, then obviously there's global buffs for that will make it even better. So there is really a lot of incentive for people that pulled for Zoma to pull for this card as well. So this card looks amazing, and then you look, okay, axe users, bow users, strikers, and glove users. Who is this going to even entail? And we have a better idea now, so we can take a look at the list here. So here's the list, and it's in order of future units. You know, so Roy, all of a sudden, fire people want this card because when you go click on fire here, you know, there's a usable like chunk of a team in there. So you've got Roy and Satya. That's a really big deal. Raldor obviously is very nice, and Revelka is a good limited unit. That could be a really interesting team. Roy, Revelka, and a tank or something for a limited guild battle, or maybe Roy and Satya plus a tank. But then your tank's not taking advantage of the agility or the slash resist, which is kind of a bummer. But still, that makes it really interesting for me personally as a fire player. But we don't need to just think about elements, although if we just quickly scroll through, Ice has a team that's pretty much ready to go there. Zoma, Snow, and Eliza, looks pretty good. Rosa's fun sometimes. Wind, doesn't look terrible. And even like Earth has a lot of strikers and has Muraga. So like there's some pretty cool applications for this. And you can see there's Alphons. Water's really much more limited, and then light and dark, they don't really have much at all. But what's really cool here is the strike potential for Full Metal Alchemist, because both Ed and Al are strike units, so they can both benefit from this. And then there's lots of other strike units, like we've got Peren, or whatever her name is, from JP, the water unit. And then we've even got, Snow is kind of like a tank, although that's kind of what Alphonse is going to be doing, the same thing. So there's some options here. Tifa, if you wanted to go 2 wind and a lightning, there's some options here to build strike teams that have this really powerful VC. Now it is a magic VC, so you have to think about, well, this must be a sub VC, because I'll still take a lot of stats from it. I'll still take 8% agility, or maybe it's less than that, but then you'll still take lots of slash resistance. Like, it's still going to be a really good sub card. The fact that this card has such crazy stats on it, I'm probably going to be pulling for it because I don't want to miss it. And it's limited, and it's a non-FF collab. If it wasn't so pushed, I would probably skip it. But because it's got some of the most important stats in the game on it, or on the party effect, I think that's too good to pass up. And you never know when they're going to release a character and it's your favorite character and your favorite element, and they're one of these jobs. And then all of a sudden you want this card. And that's a really bad way to look at these job cards, because you could get in a situation where you're pulling every VC for that reason. So I'm not telling you to do that for all of them, but I am telling you to do that for limited ones, especially limited ones where we don't know if they're going to come back. No, so for example, Final Fantasy VII has come back many times. So if the Final Fantasy VII limited VCs, if you skipped one, well, I'm not saying I recommend that, you would still get a chance to get it later on. That is not a guaranteed for Dragon Quest. There's just no way that we know for sure, because Nier hasn't come back. Probably will, but it hasn't. So that's just something that we have to keep in mind when we're looking at these vision cards. It's really tricky. All right, so the final vision card, it's the raid one. Again, just absolutely beautiful art. I love how this wolf is just totally skewered with arrows down the corner. That's kind of insane. But we've got Magellan and the pink thing, and they're both there. They're both having a great time. So this vision card is a lot easier to look at because it's free. We can all build it. It's obviously pushed with 30 human killer, and then strike resistance 20% and magic resistance 16%. So it's a very, very solid defensive card, and it even has HP 15% on the bestowed, and it's got a nice balance of attack or magic, so you can use it on multiple types of units. It looks really cool, but again, we suffer from the fact that it doesn't have the best units to pick from in terms of the jobs. Although I kind of like, when we look at elements, there's a makings of a fire team here. I think Psaro and then Mont and Elda is super fun, and then Glaciella is also really fun. So there's like a fun fire team in here that I don't know how competitive it will be, but it's cool. And then otherwise, like, we look at some of the other elements, and there's nothing here. Actually, wind looks pretty good too. There's a lot of good units on this list right now. So, there's maybe a team there that could take advantage of the resistances. Earth, not like a ton of synergy. Like, it's Oberon and Mastery together. It's fine. Lightning drops off a bit. Water, not liking it. And then light, there's a lot of fringe units here. Although for limited, Mariali, and then but then that's it. So maybe not. And then dark, it's very limited in dark. So this card is free. It's not supposed to be like, oh, how dare they not give us the best jobs. But it's not the best job VC by any means, but it's going to be a very nice one to collect. And I certainly like that fire is one of the better elements for it, and that wind also looks pretty good. So, that's nice. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. And I'm actually very curious if you're going to be pulling for these vision cards. And if not, why? I mean, seriously, these vision cards are pretty good. Definitely both of them should be ones that a lot of people should be considering. And I anticipate that a lot of people will be pulling for them. So if you're not into these vision cards, then tell me. I want to know why. But I think that, most of us are going to be pulling for them. The one that I like the Psaro one, I really do think most players, if they're ever going to play fire, we'll get it. The one that I think some people will really be on the fence about is the job VC, just because of how specific it is, but still, I mean, come on, it's so good. It's been pushed so much, and a lot of people are Fullmetal Alchemist fans, so it's going to be a great sub VC. Please consider it. I know I will. And I guess maybe I'll make a pull video if I do pull for 2 VCs. That might be kind of fun. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I don't have a lot of time this week, so it's going to be up in the air, okay? Okay. So that's going to be it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.